What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is Bel Air Season 1, Episode 7. So, we start this episode off. We have Will talking to Uncle Phil, and we have Lisa talking to her dad. Both of them are headed to school for practice, and they're both talking to their respective children about the same thing. Fred is talking to Lisa about Will. How close are you to Will? Well, do you know why Will really came out here? Well, you know what? And she was like, Dad, I'm not about to be your snitch. Like, that's not what we about to do here. And he was like, no, that's cool. That's cool. He was like, but, you might want to just chill out a little bit. At least until this election is over, I'm going to need you to kind of, stay away from Phil. And Lisa was like, really? That's what we doing? He was like, yeah, right now with the election, you hanging out at the bank's house, hanging out with the bank's kids, probably not a good idea. So then, Uncle Phil is basically saying the same thing to Will, like, hey, how close are you and Lisa? And he was like, me and Lisa, we cool. And he was like, well, with everything going on with the election, I'm gonna need you to just kind of chill out on that a little bit. We love Lisa. You know how we feel about her, but with everything with the election, we're gonna have to just play it how we gonna play it. Then he went on, and he was kind of letting him know that he needed to really be discreet about things. So we get to school, and Will and Lisa are kissing. They done found some little secret room up in the school, and they are kissing. And, basically, they've compared notes, and they both know that they got the talk from their prospective parent guardian. And Lisa was like, yeah, we need to kind of keep this chill. She was like, and she said, I understand that we can't really go public, but we do need to let Carlton know what's up. Like that's only fair and that's only right that we let Carlton know what the deal is. And Phil and Will was like, you right, you right. We need to let him know what's going on. So while this is going on, Hillary is at her influencer house, and we know that on the last episode she made the video in the lingerie, but she never uploaded it. Well, come to find out, Kylo uploaded the video. He done edited it and uploaded it, and the way he edited it made it even more salacious than what was already there. And one of her housemates was like, he can't do that. He can't do that. She was like, well, technically, he can. Anything that is filmed in this house goes to the cloud, and anything in the cloud belongs to him. So pretty much all your content that you film here is his, and he can do what he wants with it. And she said, you know what? I don't always like the way he does things, but when I got, when Oprah's people called me to do my book, I kind of, realized that he kind of knows what he's doing. Hillary is upset. She's pissed, because of course she wasn't sure. Like, she filmed the video, but she wasn't sure that she actually wanted to upload the video. Now, later on in the episode, we saw her going over to her daddy because daddy's going to fix it. And he was in a meeting. He didn't really have time to talk right in that moment. So she's talking to her mom, and she showed her mom the video. And of course, her mother is like, okay, it is a bit salacious, And she said, listen, I'm sure that your dad can get you out of this. I'm sure that your dad, he gonna throw all his legalese behind it, and he will get you, and he will pay whatever money he needs to pay to get you out of this. She said, but you know what would be even better? She said, being able to get out of this yourself is priceless. Like, it'll give you such a feeling of accomplishment and empowerment that you did it yourself and you figured out how to do this yourself. She was like, I'm just telling you. So when Uncle Phil came out of his meeting, he asked her, he was like, what did you need that was so important? And she was like, never mind, I think I figured it out. Now, I think that was a great moment because I don't think that Aunt Viv was telling her, I don't want you running to your daddy. I think she was legit when she said, listen, empower yourself. And honestly, keep that in your back pocket because your daddy always has your back. Like, that's always that's going to break your fall. But don't use it until you really need to, right? Now, she found out in the meantime, Kylo has been ghosting her. He's been calling her all day, and I'm sure he's been ghosting her for a reason. One, because he already know why she calling, and he ain't really ready to have that conversation. Two, I think he waited and he wanted to see what the numbers, because he's a numbers guy. All he cares about are the algorithms, your followers, your likes. That's all he cares about. So let me give it time to sit there. Let me give it time to manifest and marinate, and then we'll see where we are at the end of the day. And I really think that was the whole purpose of that whole I don't want to call you back yet, but we're gonna get back to that later. So now, while this is going on, before this actually took place, Aunt Viv and Uncle Phil are talking, and he needs more money. He's basically, him and his campaign manager basically talking to her about the amount of money that they're putting into this campaign. Because remember, a lot of his endorsements dried up, a lot of his donations have dried up. And even though last episode he was like, good thing I'm rich and I got the money," but he also has a wife and a family, and she was like, "Well, how much money are we actually going to pour into this campaign? Like, I'm all here for the support. I'm all here. I got your back, brother, man. But how much are we really going to put into this?" And so he was like, "Well," she said, "I need a day. Look, give me some time to think about this." So the campaign manager gonna say, "Oh, so you want me to put the money back in my and you want me to transfer the money back?" She was like, "Transfer the money back?" She said, "So you mean to tell me that basically no matter what I said, you were gonna do it anyway? That's what's going on here?" She was like, "Okay, cool." He said, "Well, I mean, the money came out of my account. I mean," she was like, "Oh, so it's your account now. That's what we're doing?" And she, of course, walked out. She said, "Let me ask you, if I had said no, would it have made a difference?" And he sort of didn't say anything. She was like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." And so she leaves out the room. And the campaign manager go turn to him and be like, "That's what you went with? My account? That's what you..." And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, of all the things you could have said in that moment, that's what you're doing. Now, while this is going on, we see Carlton at lacrosse practice. And he's not having a good practice. He's still distracted. He's not really focusing. And Connor and his coach sort of called him out on it. So, while they were on a break, after, Connor sort of got on him and was like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, what are you focusing on?" And the coach, like I said, the coach co-signed it. Carlton overheard Connor making a comment saying, "Well, at least they can't take every sport from us, or at least they're not good in every sport." So of course Carlton overheard it, and it pissed him off. So on the next scrimmage, the next practice run, he basically slams Connor and ends up breaking his wrist. Of course, the whole team thinks he did it on purpose, which he did. And of course, it's getting around school, and he's sort of, y'all know that we know the power that Connor holds. It just so happens that Carlton has always been on the positive side of the gossip. So we see him and Will run into each other, and I think Will was getting ready to talk to him about the Lisa thing, but he was like, "Yo, I heard about what happened. Are you good?" And Carlton was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'm just tired of it." He was like, "I'm just tired of his racist comments, and I'm tired of the looks and tired of the stares. Like, it's just, the whole school is turning against me, and it's really bothering me." He was like, "Oh, kind of like what I went through." And Carlton was like, "You know what?" He was like, "Will, I'm sorry. Like, I'm so sorry for what I did to you and what I put you through when all of this, when you first moved here." He was like, because again, now he understands what it feels like, right? And so Will was like, "You know what? I know exactly what you need." He was like, "You need something to flip the script." He was like what I had to do when I came here. You just gotta find, you gotta figure out a way to get in with another crowd to get people to get to know you in a different way, in a different level. So he tells Carlton, "Listen, I got the perfect thing," and he decides that he is going to throw a party because the parents are going away for the weekend. Now, that whole situation, I'm not sure how it fell out, but neither here nor there. They weren't going to be home, and he was like, I'm going to throw you a party. And Carlton isn't sure about it. He was like, first of all, ain't nobody going to come, because nobody likes me right now. Like, did we not have this conversation? Will was like, don't worry about that. I will get the people there. He said, don't, just chill. Just like, trust me. He said, Will, are you sure about this? Because what I don't want to do is be punished for the next, 6 months. He was like, 6 months? He said, well, yeah, that's what happened to Hillary when she threw, when she threw a party the summer before her senior year, and she got in trouble. He was like, they damn near burned down the guest house. Now, here's the thing. They got a guest house and a pool house. Damn. Anyway, but Will was like, don't worry about it. I got it, right? So he's talking about something. I got the basketball team coming in, the cheerleaders. Who you got? He was like, I got the chess team and the debate team. He was like, thanks to Connor, nobody else is going to touch me. So Will was like, don't worry about it. You just show up. You just be chill. You just be ready. Like, I got this, So, um, so Uncle Phil is talking to G about how mad Aunt Viv is at him. We found out that Aunt Viv told him that she is going to head out to this event where your boy gonna be, where Bryce is gonna be, and he was like, "So you wasn't gonna say nothing?" She was like, "Oh, I thought I would just go and call you later, cause ain't that what we doing now? We making decisions and then we telling each other later." He was like, "Is this about like you mad at me about the money?" She was like, "No, but I decided this is what I'm gonna do and this is what I need to do." So he's talking to G about how bad he screwed up, and they talking about the election and the campaign and everything. And G was like, "Listen, the campaign is the least of your concerns right now, okay? Let me tell you what you really need to be worried about." And he gives him a folder on Bryce. He said, "That dude, that's who you need to be worried about." I said, "We knew that. We knew it. He's listen, all sorts of a womanizer, okay?" So next we see Aunt Viv. She done went down to the party. She's nervous. You can tell that she's very self-conscious. Bryce sees her, and of course they get to talking, and he's happy to see her, and he starts talking to her, and he's like, "Listen, there's a bunch of people here that want to meet you, a bunch of people that want to talk to you." And she was like, "Okay, I'm nervous." He said, "Well, let's have a drink first." And I was thinking, don't you take no drink from him. Maybe I've been watching too many documentaries lately. Y'all know if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. But I'm just like, I don't know about that. But next we see them talking, chilling, they laughing and stuff. And who come rolling up on them? Uncle Phil. I said, "I know that's right, Uncle Phil. You better go get your woman." That's what he's supposed to do, okay? And Uncle Phil immediately let Bryce know, "I'm here. I'm her biggest fan. What you want, what you need, how you want it, how you gonna carry it." And then Viv was like, "What you doing here?" And he said, "Listen, I don't like the way we left things. I don't want you to feel like I'm not here for you. I don't support you." She said, "Well, what about the campaign meetings you had all weekend?" He said, "I canceled them. And Jeffrey is taking Ashley to Big Bear for her class trip, so don't worry about that. It's me and you. I'm here for you, girl." So Bryce ends up walking up on them because, he was like, "You looking good in that dress, You want to have a little conversation later on. They real, because she happy he's there, But then the minute Bryce walks up, what ends up happening? He starts grilling Bryce. And basically they getting into that macho thing, wanting to see whose is bigger. Y'all know what I'm saying. And he basically talks about, ask him about the fact that he's a womanizer. And he's been with so many different women and doing so many different things. And so Aunt Viv now was like, "Oh, so you only here to keep an eye on me." So I'm going to just go ahead and knock out Aunt Viv and I'm going to just knock them out, child. Now, Bryce had told Aunt Viv that people were considering her for this fellowship, and come to find out with this fellowship, you have to travel, you have to do a travel lecture, and you have to curate a collection, right? And of course she was like, "Oh my gosh, like me, like y'all think that I could do that?" And he was like, "Yeah, like I think that's something you could do." So once Uncle Phil shows up and slaps his what down to compare it against Bryce's, Aunt Viv realizes, "Oh, you didn't really come down here because you was here to support me. You came down here because you didn't trust me." So later on that night, they in the hotel room and they get to, and I appreciate how they argue because they didn't fuss, cuss, they didn't get loud. They was talking, and he told her, he said, "Listen, I trust you. I don't trust him. I don't trust his intentions." And she said, "You know what? I do like talking to him. Okay, I'm not going to sit here in front. But you know why I like talking to him? Why I like spending time with him? Because he looks at me as if my art matters." She said, "It's not about, I'm not trying to get with him. It ain't nothing sexual with him. But he loves my art. And that is why I like talking to him and spending time with him." She said, "Over the last 15 years, people have come up to me, I don't know how many times, and asked me about why I'm not doing art. When am I going to get back to my art? And not one time did you ask me anything." And Uncle Phil was like, "Listen, I saw how insecure you were. I saw how much you question your ability. I saw how much you second guessed yourself. And I didn't like that for you. And I didn't want that for you." She said, "But I'm an artist. That is what we do. Like, that's what we do. Like, don't basically don't shelter me, don't coddle me. Like, that is what we do. But they had a talk, and I feel like they were both really honest with each other about what happened, why it happened. She said, I never second guessed being a mother. Like, it was never about not wanting to be a mother, but it was about, I just got to a point where I couldn't do both. I couldn't be a mother and do all the things that was expected of me and meet my deadlines when it came to my art. Like, I just couldn't do it. Something had to give. So the problem is they had a great conversation, but the problem is I feel like they had it 15 years too late. They shared some things that needed to be shared, and they said some things that needed to be said. But ultimately, later on that night, we see Aunt Viv down at the bar, and here come Bryce again. Why you not asleep? Why you not in your room? Why are you still lurking around the bar, Bryce? But he ends up telling, he was like, oh, I thought you were in for the night. She was like, I did too. And she basically tells him that she's interested in doing the fellowship, right? Now, the way he made it seem earlier in the episode, he didn't make it seem like it was a done deal. But then by the end of the episode, it made it seem like if she wants it, it's hers kind of thing. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Okay, we will see where that goes. Now, back up to Bel Air. I just went on and had to knock them out the way. Let's go on back up to Bel Air. The party is going, Carlton is subconscious. A lot of people haven't shown up. Will tells them, don't worry about it. They gonna come. Don't worry about it. So as the night goes on, more people do start showing up. And Hillary is in charge. Now, the parents know that they're having a get-together, but they can't be naive enough to think that this get-together ain't gonna turn into a full-fledged party, especially since they gone for the weekend. But we're gonna get back to that later. We'll get back to that. But they done put Hillary in charge, and Hillary is busting it, right? She keeping people out of the bedrooms. She making sure people ain't sitting on the front. Like, she's doing her job, right? She's chilling. She ain't doing too much, but she doing just enough. And Jazz shows up, and the two of them get to flirting. And he brings up the post she made about the lingerie. I think they're calling it Sexy Chef or something. And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about it. She said, I'm going to tell you the whole story. And she ends up telling him what happened. And he was like, he said, yeah, because that didn't seem like you. Like, he said, I ain't going to lie, I enjoyed the video, but it doesn't really seem like you. And she was like, it wasn't. So they kind of, they're flirting, they kissing and stuff, they having a moment. While that's going on, Lisa is outside talking to Will. And she's like, they get the, they flirting or whatever. And she's like, he's like, I really want to kiss you right now. He was like, but I don't know where Carlton is. He said, I just couldn't tell him, after the day he had, I couldn't tell him about this too. Like, that would, that would really crush him. And she, Lisa understands. Like, she gets it. And he said, don't worry though. I kind of hooked Carlton up. I'm hooking him up with somebody. So hopefully, if he find a new boo thing, he won't worry about his old boo thing. So we see Carlton talking to a girl, they downstairs in the game room, and they seem to have some things in common, and they're looking at a TikTok video of somebody doing the Carlton dance. Did y'all catch that? She was doing the Carlton dance. I mean, of course, they weren't calling it the Carlton dance, but it was looking like one of these new TikTok dances. Both of them loved it. Both of them enjoyed it, and they were actually sort of vibing, right? But then she was like, you're different. Like, you're different than what I thought. And he was like, well, what does that mean? And she said, no, that's okay. And he was like, no, I can take it. Tell me what it is. She said, well, word around school is that you're kind of a sellout. Like, you hang with the white kids, you play lacrosse, you like yachting, race cars. He was like, so because I like those particular activities, that means I'm not black? And she was like, well, no, like, you never come to any of the BSU events, which is Black Student Union, for those who don't know. And she was like, that's not cool. Now, I was with her up until the that's not cool part, because, listen, everybody ain't got to be a part. That's like saying, well, you ain't part of the NAACP, so you ain't cool. Like, I feel like that was, like, I understood her honesty, and I appreciated the fact that she was being honest with him, but I felt like that last little part was just a bridge too far, because I didn't feel like it was right for her to judge him like, oh, that's not cool. What do you mean that's not cool? Just because he doesn't come to the damn meetings? Girl, bye. But of course, he took it personally, and he got upset, and he told Will, listen, I appreciate you trying, but this just ain't it. I'm going up, like, I'm done. Like, you have a good time. So Will, of course, is upset. because he really did all of this for Carlton. Like, he sincerely was trying to help Carlton, and he realizes that this just ain't working. Like, I tried to do this and I tried to do that, and nothing I did worked for Carlton. So he's upset, and Lisa comes to talk to him. And she tells him, she said, listen, he's not going to change overnight. She said, growing up in Bel Air, where generally you're the only black kid, like, in every room. You're the only, you can count how many of us are around, and it's just hard. And he said, that's never been my experience. Like, I lived in a black neighborhood, went to a black school, black church, black everything. And so this is new for me. She said at a certain point you just get used to the racism and the racist comments and the microaggression, and everybody copes differently. And Will was like, yeah, like, have anxiety and snort Xanax. And I think for the first time, Will really understood what Carlton's struggles were, right? Yes, we can say that Carlton is a jerk. Yes, we can talk about Carlton being an ass. But I think this is the first time that he really, truly understood just how Carlton got to be the way he is to a certain extent. Next thing you know, Will and Lisa up in Will's bedroom because she got to charge her phone. Girl, you know good and damn well that half that party got a charger. There's chargers all over that damn house. You ain't had to go up to Will's room to charge your phone. But I saw that move, Lisa. I see you, girl, and I ain't mad about it. Because Will even called her out. Will was like, did you really need to charge your phone, or you just wanted to get in my bedroom? And she was like, a little bit of both. Now listen, I ain't even gonna hold you on this part. Y'all know what happened, okay? They talked. They got to know each other a little better. She saw all his stuff in his room. They got to kissing. They got to doing more than kissing. Will said, are you sure? She said, I'm sure if you sure. He said, well, if you sure, I'm sure. And next thing you know, they was in the bed being sure. Okay? Now, while this is going on, because we're going to get back to that. While this is going on, Kylo shows up at the party. And so, Hillary lets Jazz know, oh, Kylo is here. Oh, I'm about to cuss him out. And Jazz was like, girl, I got your back. So she get ready to cuss Kylo out. And Kylo was like, yeah, I hear you. Like, you mad. That's cool. But in the meantime and in between time, I got some people outside that really like the sexy chef. And they want to invest in what you got going on. And Will was like, and Jazz was like, we don't care about all that. Just take it down. Take the video down. Kylo was like, fine, I'll take the video down. Hillary said, hold up. Let me go see what these people are talking about first, and then I decide if I want that video down. And I think that bothered Jazz because, one, he had her back. Like, that's number one. One, he was defending her, and he had her back. Like, take the video down, my man. You know what I'm saying? And then, two, he already said that he didn't really like that content, and he kind of was giving her the side eye a little bit when he thought that she had done it. Now, she's sort of changing her mind. But what we find out later on is that these investors that he's talking to, that he brought to the party, they're going to pay her $15,000 a post, I think it was. Which, of course, is going to make anybody think twice. $15,000 a post? If I post every day or every other day? What? So, of course, you could see Jazz visibly be uncomfortable with that. So the other side too, Carlton is up in his room feeling some kind of way, and he gets a text from Jason. Jason was like, yo, we in the game room, where you at? And he was surprised that Jason was there. Jason is one of the Asian kids on the lacrosse team. So, Carlton goes down there and the whole team is there. And he was like, yo, I'm surprised that you guys came. Like, what are y'all doing here? And even Connor is there. But, of course, Connor is there. He's still there on that bullshit, And they get into it. And Carlton actually ends up standing up to him. And he was like, yo, until you apologize for all that racist, homophobic bullshit that you be saying, like, no, I'm not. Like, we're not cool. I'm not rocking with you. Like, you can't just show up at my house and it's all good. Like, I broke your wrist. I meant that shit. So Connor got pissed off and he was like, all right, whatever. He was like, y'all come on back to my house. And the rest of the team stood there because once he started talking about that, the man was talking about black people, Asian people, black people, Latino people, and gay people. Well, that pretty much was everybody in the room, okay? So the rest of the team was like, nah, we good. And he was like, that's fine, whatever. So of course he got in his feelings. And next thing you know, Carlton is getting a text message. Because Carlton texted Will and was like, Connor showed up, but I handled it. But Will was busy with Lisa. So next thing you know, Carlton gets a text message from Connor talking about a couple of my friends, a couple of guests are on their way, and he just thought Connor was on some BS. And I was like, oh, he done sent a bunch of people over there that's gonna trash the house. That's what I was thinking. Nah, he sent the police. So next thing you know, Will and Lisa, they laying in the bed in the afterglow, and they see police lights. Of course, Carlton, living his privileged lifestyle, right? He's like, yo, when, he walks up to the police. He's like, don't worry about it. He was like, I'm sorry, officer. It's, I'm sorry, officer. It's nothing. We were just having a party. And of course they were like, whose house is this? And he was like, it's my house. Like, I live here. My parents aren't home, but this is my house. But he's acting like it's no big deal. And he's walking up to the police like, hey. And the police like, yo, don't come any closer. Next thing you know, Carlton's hands are behind his head and they patting him down and everything. So when Lisa sees the police cars, Lisa is getting up and Will was like, nah, you stay here. I'm going to go downstairs and handle it. And she was like, no, I can help. Of course she can help. Her daddy, who she lied to, by the way, and told him, and she ain't lie. She misrepresented where she was going because she said, I'm going to hang out with one of her other friends, Rachel, I believe, which technically ain't a lie because Rachel was at the party too. But you know your daddy told you not to be over there. So, of course, Lisa calls her daddy. Carlton sees Will and Lisa coming out of the bedroom, and of course he automatically assumes right, but I'm sure he assumes what went down. And Lisa tells the police officer, yeah, my dad's on the phone and he need to talk to you. He was like, and who's your dad? Your boss. I mean, she didn't say it like that. That's how I'm saying it. I put a little extra sauce on it. So he gets on the phone, and of course, next thing you know, the police are gone. But y'all already know that Fred is going to put that in his back pocket for this campaign, that there was this wild party going on down to the Banks house with underage drinking and Lord knows what else. And you know he going to get on Lisa about it. So the repercussions on this party are going to be boom, boom, boom. Even though the police left, and that's pretty much where the episode ended. But like I know, that's where it's going to be next week. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.